I-75, Alex.
Yeah, speaking of Tallahassee, let's take you there. A live look at the campus of Florida State, by the way, already graduated. So already some new Florida State grads out there in the world doing big things. A lot of meteorology students come out of Florida State. Dr. Knabb would be mad if I left that out. So, again, congrats to all the graduates. It's going to be a tough weekend. So, you're glad graduation's over. Obviously, we've got Mother's Day to deal with. Looking at tomorrow afternoon, we've got plenty of rain. Heavy at times, especially like early to mid-afternoon. We move forward in time, and guess what? More rain showers coming for you. So as Mike pointed out, we've got opportunities, the ups and the downs of the weather forecast here. Sometimes you get light rain or even breaks from the rain, and other times you're just going to be dealing with downpours. So by the time all is said and done, between now and Wednesday morning, places like Tallahassee looking at 2 to 5 inches in that part of Florida. A lot of 3 to 5+ inch totals across the state of Georgia, even up into South Carolina as well. Atmospheric moisture, no lack in that. You can see on the scale of like dry and brown to really, really moist and red, we're up there in the yellows, even some of the oranges out over the Gulf. So that Gulf moisture streaming northward, and that is helping to fuel some good old-fashioned downpours. Tonight, that will continue into the weekend. Here's the atmospheric moisture into the weekend. Again, one slug, more slugs. Look at Monday around midday. Man, parts of South and Central Florida going to have nothing but moisture to work with. Things finally turn a little bit drier as we get into the later part of Tuesday and then Wednesday of next week. So expect a lot more radar images that look like this. Tough evening commute on I-10.
Exhausting.
Very, very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. You showed that deficit in a place like Tampa. I want to give you a virtual view where Mike just showed us rain's on the way. Maybe not as much as North Florida, but at least some welcome and necessary rain coming back into the picture. So we've got clouds at times, other times be prepared for the rain. Downpours out there intermittently. So again, throughout the weekend, at least be ready for the off. It's always when you leave the grocery store, when you're about to walk into the restaurant, when your hair looks perfect and you need to step out of the car and you didn't have the umbrella in your hand at that exact moment. That's when the downpours will be coming. Tampa Sunday is bringing a chance of afternoon thunderstorms. I think more clouds over the day on Saturday. Then Monday, that's going to be your stormiest, rainiest day of the week. So pretty persistent wet weather. I showed you that atmospheric moisture earlier. Man, that's going to be running high across Florida to start the week. By Tuesday, the sunshine is back, so we get a lull in the rain. Temps go back to the mid-80s, too, after being kept in check Sunday and Monday with the rain showers. Rainfall still to come. I think we end up in that 1 to 2 inch range around the Tampa area. North of Tampa, northeast of Tampa, Orlando points north. That's where we're looking at more of those 2 to 3+ inch amounts. So some areas will even exceed 3 inches of rain between now and Tuesday. Average monthly rainfall for Tampa, you can see why we call it the dry season and the rainy season, right? Over the winter through May, you go from about 2.5, 2 3/4 inches to big time rainfall totals. June, 7.37, 7 3/4 inches, over 9 on average in August. So we really do flip a switch off and on when it comes to rain across the state during the summertime season, summertime storms, of course, hurricane season, when we oftentimes get most of our wet weather. By Saturday evening, you can see some scattered thunderstorms out there. Sunday, Monday, though, bringing more in the way of chances for the Tampa area. So second half of the weekend and start to next week look especially soggy, Mike.
They do. Alex, thank you for that. And let's take a look at sunburn.
Yeah, absolutely.
So take precautions.
I know it's May, so we're thinking like, oh, that's a July thing. No, this time of year, you can certainly get burned. Also, warmer temperatures during the month of May means leaving a pet or a child in your car is dangerous and potentially deadly. Now, on Wednesday in Maryland, a 2-year-old girl died after being left in a hot car. Temperatures outside never even hit 80 degrees, but just goes to show you that on one of those otherwise mild, comfortable days inside a vehicle, it can get very, very hot. Kansas City, Wednesday high of 90 degrees. Obviously, that's hot enough, but after just 10 minutes inside the car, it's near 110 degrees. After 30 minutes, 124 degrees. So I know a lot of people say, oh, it's just a few minutes. Some of the most rapid rises come in those first few minutes. So critical that you leave, the kids at home or with somebody, and leave your pets also at home. Don't leave them in the car, even for just a few minutes. Too many times We've seen instances where, people leave a pet for just what they think is a couple minutes. Our errands that we think are going to be 3 or 4 minutes turn into something like 20 and 30 minutes, and then we've got a problem. But even, again, 2 to 3 minutes in the heat of the summer can get very, very dangerous. Saturday through Monday, record highs potentially across the northern tier and a lot of the west, from the southwest to parts of the Intermountain West. So there's a lot of record heat. We showed you like what Minneapolis and the Dakotas are doing, but also like Billings. You're going to see very warm temperatures. Records likely to fall on Sunday include Minneapolis, include Rapid City. That should be an easy break. The current record is 87. Fargo, you'll likely set a record. International Falls, you'll likely smash a record. 90 would easily break 83. And in Bismarck, North Dakota, also forecasting a break of the record there. Sunday, 97 in Bismarck, 95 Rapid City, 90 Minneapolis. Not as hot, but still plenty warm across sections of the Central Plains. So Wichita, Kansas City, over into the Midwest, St. Louis, all low to mid 80s. So, pretty warm given the part of May that we're in. We're still not even near Memorial Day. We're still, closer to the earlier part of the month. High temperatures are 20 to 25 degrees above average. That just goes to show you how far above the norm we are. Outside of that, where you see like the yellows and the oranges, those are numbers that are about 10 to 15 degrees above average for this time of year. So again, very, very high heat for early to mid-May. Through Sunday, you can see that low focused along the coast, the Gulf Coast. That's going to keep us a little cooler there. But of course, that ridge in the middle of the country keeping things hot. That remains for the middle part of next week. But that warmth does start to build eastward as our low lifts out. So we will see some warming temperature trends across the eastern part of the country by mid next week. That above average air begins to work towards places like Chicago as well.